Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We got to talk about The Bachelorette. It's getting good. I loved this episode.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of normal now. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if oh my God,
I messed you up.
Short-circuited. I short-circuited. If you want to support us on Patreon, find the link in the description. I'm like shutting down.
It's late. Understandable.
It's live. We make mistakes. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, we are king and queen of mistakes over here. There's a whole blooper reel that Seth made for us. So there's that.
Yeah.
All right. So there's this episode, which I actually felt was very streamlined because it was like, there's going to be 2 one-on-ones and a group date. And I felt like I knew what was coming. And I felt like, thank you.
Yes. There's structure. We're back to sort of normal. Everything's like obviously still different from what we're used to, but it's like the structure of the show is kind of back. And it's like kind of comforting. Like, okay, yeah, can we not have like, romp around with one guy for 4 episodes straight and no dates and no cocktail parties. I'm sorry I'm late. It's canceled. Like that was Claire's vibe and that's gone. Thank goodness.
Oh, thank goodness. So Jojo, I just met Jojo. She shows up.
Former Bachelorette. She is one of the success stories they point out. But I was like, what is she doing here? Because like, she was a Bachelorette, a few seasons ago. I'm sure she knows Tayshia just from like being in the franchise. But because Jojo was on the show and then became the Bachelorette, she never really like mixed and mingled with the like Bachelor in Paradise scene as much. So I'm sure she knows Tayshia, but it was just like,
they don't really know each other.
Right. I just was like, are they friends? Like, what is she doing here? But then it kind of quickly makes sense when, first of all, Chris knocks. Did you notice that he knocked? He took Ed's note before he came into the room. He knocked and, he explains that we've got this structure that Sarah mentioned. And the only thing different is I'm taking off. I got to take my son to college. First of all, I'm not usually here this much. I'm around more because I have to be because we're at the La Quinta, but normally I'd be gone for 5 episodes and you wouldn't even miss me. So I got to go take my kid to college. Okay. And so I brought Jojo in and she's the new me. So welcome Jojo, your new host of The Bachelor.
I didn't even know that. I was like, okay, go ahead, Chris. Do we have to have Jojo? Okay, sure. Whatever.
I can't remember this ever happening before that another host takes over.
If Jojo walks in and says, Tayshia, gentlemen, this is your last rose, and then backs out, I'm gonna be like, what?
She stole Chris's gig. Maybe she'll have a new line. Like maybe she won't say, because like maybe Chris Harrison has like, this is the final rose trademarked or copywritten or whatever. So maybe she'll have like, Tayshia, gentlemen, there's only 1 rose left tonight or something like some, spin on it. Maybe they'll do a different flower.
Yeah, no, I hope she says, as you all can see very clearly, there's 1 rose left on the little table. Who's gonna get it?
If you can count to 1, then there's 1 rose left.
But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves because we don't get a rose ceremony in this one. But up first, Zach is going to have a one-on-one.
A one-on-one. Now,
our girl T.
That's right. I love how Ben is like, I need this one-on-one. I gotta have this time. I gotta have it. And it's like, and Zach, it is not Ben. Sorry, Ben.
You probably do need it, Ben, but she really likes Zach. So I don't think any of us are surprised that he's getting this one-on-one. She wants to get all up in the Zach face.
She does.
Smoochy.
Yep. And she's like, he's older than I normally go for, but there's just something about him. Like, I want to have this time to kind of figure out.
How old is he?
He's 36, I think, and she's 29. So, I mean, not huge, but like old by Bachelor standards. But they go to this photo shoot with the most Palm Springs photographer you could possibly dream up.
For him.
The shorty shorts, white printed, a neck scarf tied, like a big collar, navy blue shirt that's like very tight.
Purple loafers, maybe? I'm pretty sure.
Purple loafers. Yeah.
He was my favorite part of all of this, to be honest with you. That photographer was amazing.
Yes.
But I felt like this was real. I felt like there were real nerves here, right?
I
You
agree.
are telling a divorced woman to wear some wedding dresses for a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Anxiety through the roof. Like,
Yeah.
come on, that's real.
Yeah. And Zach can kind of tell that Tayshia's a little bit shook right away. Like, she's kind of like, haha, yeah, fun. Like, let's play dress up in wedding dresses. Like, it just doesn't mean the same thing for her anymore than it does, as it does for someone who's getting or thinking about getting married for the first time. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So she's nervous. He can kind of tell. He's nervous himself around this photographer. Like, he's kind of like eyes wide, like, who is this guy? He's just like a little bit like, are you an alien? Like, where did you come? Like, he's never seen a Palm Springs gay in his life. You know what I mean? So he's a little bit like, ooh, what's going on? But then, he finally changes into, again, a horribly fitting tux. He looks like a flower. He looks like a ring bearer at a wedding, like a huge oversized white jacket, baggy black pants. And then Tayshia comes out and is absolutely stunning in this white dress. Like, so beyond gorgeous.
Yeah. Now I'm okay with a photo shoot for a date. I think that could be fun, but making it wedding themed and putting them in this traditional look for a wedding.
Yeah.
First off, I think, doesn't that kind of jinx things? Like, I just don't feel like that's a good vibe to do for a couple who's known each other for a week. So I don't love that. But then on top of that, they're both feeling nervous, and like you can see it in Zach just as much as you can see it in her. Luckily, Zach does sort of like break the ice, makes her laugh, and is like, we're just gonna work through this because this is terrifying for both of us.
Yeah.
Then they change out and they change into more fun outfits, and this feels just more photo shoot, and this feels more fun.
Agreed. Yes.
Less wedding-y.
Yeah, I think he handles her really well in the wedding moment, like you say. Like, he's like, we got to dance we got to have our first dance if we're going to do this wedding. Like, he's just trying to like loosen it up and shake off the nerves. And I think he handled that really well. Yeah. But like, without calling too much attention to like, are you okay? Are you okay, Tayshia? How are you handling this? Like, he just was like, let's dance, let's have fun. Don't even think about it. And then you're right. Once they changed outfits, which they became increasingly more insane. Like, they decided to pull Barry Manilow's wardrobe to dress Zach. And they're like in all these shiny, sparkly, patterned things. And then they're just goofing off. And it's fun to see them popping the champagne, jumping on the trampoline. Then it's just like pressure's off a little bit because we're not in our wedding clothes.
Yes. Okay. Well, we don't have to, go on and on, but yes, exactly. Yeah. Then we get to the portion where we can actually talk to each other and open up, and boy howdy does Zach open up.
Yes. Well, the photographer says bye j'adore on their way out, which I loved, and then they head off to the dinner portion of the date. And Zach, honestly, I don't know if it's more, it feels like more vulnerability than usual, like the most vulnerability I've ever seen on The Bachelorette.
In this entire episode.
Yes. And Zach is just reveals that he had a brain tumor. Like, this man's experience is so crazy. And I was really sold on this guy when he was sharing these details about being married, getting this tumor. And of course, like, it totally changes your life. You go into a horribly dark place. He starts partying, hanging out with sketchy people. He ends up in rehab. And again, like, there's just something between them. They like get each other. They're on the same page because Tayshia's not overdoing any reactions. She's just kind of like listening very respectfully. And it was just like an amazing kind of moment. And he was not looking for pity, but being fully open about like, this is my story. This is what kind of comes with me. But I feel like I'm a better person now.
Right. I mean, I'm not used to this show, and I don't know what kind of stories we often get, because I have to imagine a guy with a story is an important part of the show.
Yeah.
But when he said, like, I mean, a brain tumor was enough. Like that is dramatic and wow. And you look at life differently and all of a sudden he's having surgery. And then it took a real dark turn and he's talking about addiction and his wife leaves him and
he gets arrested.
Yes, he gets arrested. And then he's trying to cash his dad's check. I mean, this is bottom of the barrel stuff that he is revealing. And I was like, I don't know. Is Tayshia going to be like, this is too much? Like, wow. But
I mean, especially after the Ivan thing, like these are two kind of back-to-back really heavy stories of these guys like sharing this information. And it's not easy to hear that stuff, like even though it didn't happen to Tayshia, it's a lot to be told that stuff because he's thinking, I'm going to potentially break these guys' hearts. Like, oh my God, like what? These guys are so amazing and they're trusting me with this information. And even if it comes down to just Ivan and Zach at the end, one of them has to go. And so it's a lot to take in that information. And it's just like these, I mean, I'm recalling stories of like the baggage that people have is that they're a virgin. And that's just not anywhere on this level with specifically Ivan and Zach so far. Like it's pretty incredible, these stories.
Well, she's all in and I think you're right. I think there is something we can't see. There's a chemistry there, a connection there that we don't fully know, but they are connecting. And she's like, let me give you a rose, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening up. Yeah. I'm all about it.
And Sarah, I got to ask you, where did this Ferris wheel come from? Is this on the grounds of the La Quinta?
It is not. It is not. Okay. Live look into me watching this show. Where did this Ferris wheel come from? Exactly. No.
I literally was like, I have to ask Sarah about this because I know she's been to the La Quinta. Like, where did this come from?
It came from a circus down the road in Palm Springs, maybe. I'm not sure. It is not on the grounds. Someone had to haul it in. And all of a sudden we're on a Ferris wheel. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like a romantic moment. They're like, they kind of get to sit at the top of this Ferris wheel and just kind of bond and chat with each other. Like it is very sweet. But I just was like, is this an amenity at the La Quinta?
You're like a beautiful resort, a golf course, a Ferris wheel? No, does not fit. No. Mm-mm. Same thing with the horses, though. We've had horses, like the horses aren't on the resort. Like all this stuff is coming in.
Right.
Okay.
But she's definitely falling for Zach.
Definitely check it off the list. They are a thing. Now, you fell for this. You love Zach. I love him now.
I'm on board.
I certainly have nothing negative to say about Zach, except that I just have yet to click with him. Like whatever it is, he's not clicking with me. I at first I was like, I don't get it why she likes him. And then like, I definitely appreciate his story and him opening up, but I still don't see that. Like, I still don't see it. And I'm sorry. And I hate myself for it, but like, I'm not into Zach. He's not doing it for me.
Yeah. And I mean, he's like a hot dude, whatever, but like,
is he?
I do feel like he's not on her level. I talk about this all the time and I hate like making it about a woman's appearance, but I was looking at Tayshia at some moments in these episodes and like her skin, like light bounces off of her skin in this way where she literally looks like an animated princess. Like she's just so insanely beautiful. And like, Zach kind of has a moment. This is another thing that made me really like Zach on this date was he has that moment where she's like, why are you being weird? And he's like, sorry, but like, I just got to tell you, like, you are so beautiful that I have to do a double take to like get another look at you. And I'm like, that's so sweet, Zach. Oh God.
Wait, you bought that?
I did. I fell for it. Yes, I fell for it.
And maybe he was, but I was like, wow, that's a really good line if you get caught. Just like not just being like, "Mwah," and you're like, what is that about? And you're like, you know what? Your beauty's so blinding. Like get used to it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it was real or not, but it was, she bought it too, I think. So
yeah. Right.
Okay. So
now it's a group
date. We get a group day. And this is interesting to me because it's like, they know there's one other one-on-one. So no one wants to be on this group date, really?
That's right. They're all doing the math here. Like, we're waiting to see who that one
don't
other
say my
name is. Yes, right. And girl, it's your boy, Sarah. Eazy gets the other one-on-one.
You guys, all the names are listed except Eazy, and I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen a connection between the two of them.
No.
But I am rooting for Eazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited that he's getting this one-on-one at this point. We're gonna live in this moment.
We're gonna live in this moment because I was so happy for you. I was like, I think we kind of knew, like it was in the preview a little bit that he was gonna have some kind of one-on-one time with her. So I wasn't 100% surprised, but I was like, this is the time. Like Sarah's been doubting it, but Eazy's in it. And like Tayshia's paying attention. Great, great, great. Like I'm definitely feeling happy in this moment for Eazy, for you, Sarah.
Yes.
It's all of your dreams come true for this season.
for this little world right here. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Spencer, Ivan, Ed, Blake, Brendan, Riley, Jamar, Bennett, Ben, Noah. We're all going to go on a group date. And at first, we're not sure what it is because we walk into a room and there are two naked people just straddling each other.
I love like it.
An art easel.
Yeah, right. And of course, they're assuming like we have to get naked again. Right. And I love that Blake is like, I'm just not in the mood today. No. You know, like today's just, I don't feel like getting naked today. It's just, I'm not feeling great. I'm a little bloated. You know, it's so funny that he's like, specifically today, I don't feel great about stripping down.
Because he's like, this would be my third time. This is my third time getting naked. And I just don't feel like it anymore, guys. Come on. And I like fell for him in this moment because I too am like, are you kidding me?
I know.
I mean, he's not the only one saying like, oh, we got to get naked. And I'm saying the same thing. I'm like, boys, no, please don't do it.
I'm like, producers. Come up with a different idea than getting these people nude, you know, but luckily
they did
very quickly. Yes. They're like, you're just going to draw these nude models. Don't worry. And Bennett is, he's trying to kick his weight around and kick Noah out of the seat next to Tayshia. Because Tayshia's like, oh, Damar, that's my seat. And Damar's like, oh, sorry, I'll get out of the way.
Yeah,
and then Noah's sitting there in the seat next to Tayshia. And I think Bennett's just like, well, I could do that. Noah, get out of here. That's my seat. And Noah's like, what? Oh. No, is that real? He's like looking around at producers off camera, but he's like, I guess I just won't make a thing. Like, I'll get out of here. But
which was a very good move on Noah's part. Like, this was crazy that but this is what Bennett's been doing. Like, he's just pushing the limits right now. And so he's like, Noah, out of my seat. And Noah's like, what do I yell back? No. So Noah moves on. Yeah.
He left. This is the beginning of 1 week ago. We were like, wow, we're taking Bennett seriously. No, Bennett is back to being a joke. He's back to being a character on this show. He's not a real person. Like it was 1 week of a good edit for Bennett. And now it's just like, what are you doing? You're trying. It's like when he's trying at all, not even like trying too hard. When you're trying at all, you're so obnoxious and just like kind of slimy. And
I mean, a week ago, I was Team Bennett, and now I am like clearly not Team Bennett.
Oh, I was ready to take him seriously. Yeah. But then when they draw the nude models, everything that Bennett is doing is about Noah. Like he's like, oh, you know, I drew the couple first, referring to him and Tayshia. And then he's like, and the background noise second, and he like shoots daggers over at Noah, you know, and it's like, why are you being performative like this? Stop.
Yeah. But let's say all the guys, you know, they're all drawing and they show it. They've done some decent work, but they also have some like cute little remark. Like I'm very impressed with most of the guys in this date. I'm impressed with this date overall because it's not objectifying anyone. And it's like a real date.
And this is another one where I'm like, I thought this was really stupid creative, but the way they put the story together in the edit, it really worked for me. Like, I just thought they found some really great moments aside from the Bennett stuff, because then we're like molding clay blindfolded and then Bennett sneaks a kiss with Tayshia. And it's just like kind of cringy at this point because like, there's no consent there. Like you're just kind of like forcing yourself on Tayshia and she has a blindfold on. I don't love that.
Don't love it. Don't love it at all.
I also didn't love that Blake made a clay dildo. And I don't think he loved that either. I think it just kind of fell flat and he was like, oh, Thought that was going to be funnier.
It didn't work. I don't think. Everyone was just kind of like, huh? Okay, haha, moving on.
Yeah.
But again, that's like the only couple moments that we really can poo-poo, because the rest of the guys are taking it very seriously and they're saying very lovely things. I feel like the producer said, hey guys, this group date is about opening up and being vulnerable. I think they got that note ahead of time, because they really did sort of jump in and make themselves vulnerable at this point.
Head first. Yeah. The other thing, like before we get into like the really vulnerable stuff, because there was a lot of good stuff with like the self-portrait aspect of this, but I loved when, Bennett was getting up talking about something and, Noah was confronting him about being privileged. And he's like, hey, Bennett, how do you spell privilege? Is it Priviledge? And Bennett's like, I mean, for anyone who's watching, that's not how you spell privilege. But Noah's like, is that how you spell it, Bennett? Because he knows that Bennett can't spell. And Bennett's like, I'm going to let you take that one. And I'm sorry, but I'm like this is a Noah Stan account. Now, Sarah, okay. I was like, that's such a good line. I feel like I would say that to someone that I hated to try to make them look stupid. And I'm like, would I be a villain on the reality show? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If it's that, David, then yes, I would.
You would. Yes. No, I thought that was funny. I honestly couldn't tell if he had spelled it correctly or not. I missed it. So I was like, wait, what's happening? But, Bennett's like, I'm not even going to deal with that or whatever. I thought Noah handled, again, editing is everything. Yeah. But, last time they made Noah clearly a villain, and then this episode they're making Bennett clearly a villain. Like Noah is handling himself so well, and Bennett is digging a grave.
Of course. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. But when we get into this self-portrait thing, Tayshia reiterates this directive that I think you're right. The producers let them know about in advance. Like, this is about vulnerability. And I'm out here like, on a group date? Are you serious? Yeah. Like, you want these guys to be vulnerable in front of 10 other guys? Like, get real. But then we do get really great moments. Like, Blake all of a sudden went from making a clay dildo to painting a turtle dove and talking about monogamy and his own like family drama. I was like, that was a hard left for me. I was not expecting that from Blake.
100% not expecting that from Blake. But we get it from is it Riley who like had a beautiful thing? Of course, with Brendan does a cute thing with a frame, which I was like, at first I was like, Brendan, you just made a frame. But what he said, you know, like they really put some thought into what they were going to say to her and did great. Mm-hmm. Now, Ben, okay, I would love to hear opinions on this. Ben says, I'm going to let my guard down, and then drops his clothes. He's now nude. He's completely naked. Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to get nude. I'm ready. Like, Blake may not be ready to get nude today, but I'm okay with it. Yeah. Sarah, when he held up his self-portrait, it was so bad I burst out laughing because it's like just a horrible pencil drawing of a human face with like cardboard, like construction paper hearts like glued around his head. And I was like, this is horrible because, you know, Blake has drawn the turtle dove and you know, Brendan did the frame. Like, they all kind of didn't actually draw themselves. And then Ben drew himself in the worst way. And I almost feel like he was like, whoa, I misunderstood the assignment. So I got to get naked. Like, let me go get a robe.
Yeah. No, when he was like, hold on, and walked off, I was like, oh no, I think Ben's really struggling with actually being vulnerable and doesn't have anything to say, doesn't know how to like meet what the other guys have done. And when you say, I'm going to let my guard down, but you let your clothes down, like, that's not the same thing. That's actually the like low-hanging fruit, or like the cheapest way to go is be like, I'll just get naked. Look how vulnerable. And you're like, no, that's not actual vulnerability.
No, you're kind of like peacocking because he's like, you know, he says like, this physical body is all yours. But it kind of comes off like, yeah, come and get it. You want this body. It's not really being emotionally vulnerable. You're just kind of showing off your hot body and like, great, you look amazing. But that's kind of not what she was asking for. But Tayshia still, I don't know if Ben was part of it, but she's so overwhelmed by these guys. Like, again, it's just these men are not holding back from like really opening up to this woman. And she's again running out, crying, totally overwhelmed. Like we've heard from her, I think already in this episode, that she hates hurting people's feelings. I think she said that to Jojo, and Jojo's like, get used to it. But she's just like, how am I going to do this? Like, how am I going to send these amazing people home?
Yeah, it's super hard to break someone's heart when they are actually being vulnerable with you. Now, I will say, like, in this moment, these are my feelings about Ben. I see things differently when he talks later, so we can talk about that in a minute. But I just want to say, like, in this moment, I'm mad at Ben, but I kind of see a parallel to his story later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's like freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. And at this point, she's supposed to pick the person who was the most vulnerable or the person who basically wins to spend time with her. And she just can't.
Yeah.
She says, let's all spend time together.
Yeah, right. Like, let's just not. Like, I can't. You were all, well, not all of you, but a lot of you were just so incredible. I can't possibly like pass any kind of value judgment on your vulnerability. Everybody gets to come. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, when we get to the cocktail portion of this, like Riley's the first to pull her aside. He's kind of talking more about his mom. That was like kind of an emotional thing for him, his relationship with his mom, and her kind of like not understanding that he grew up in this like broken situation, and not understanding why he's fantasizing about a normal family. So he's getting a great moment with her, and then Brendan shows up and she just is staring at his mouth the whole time. She's like, I want to kiss that
she's
mouth.
Like, hey Brendan, good to see you again, let's make out. She wants to jump his bones whenever she sees him. She was like, you did a great job today. Let's make out. That portion. But we do circle back with Ben. Then she gets to touch base with Ben. And now we're going to be vulnerable. Now we're going to open up.
This, again, I'm blown away by, especially like, not to be stereotypical, but men have a harder time opening up, showing emotion. And this is really intense stuff to be talking about. And it feels like they're ready to talk about it, like they're not taking long pauses, trying to collect their thoughts. Like they've thought about this and they're like ready to tell Tayshia. And he reveals that he, realized as a kid, girls don't like the fat kid. And he had bulimia for years and struggled with it. And now I feel bad for saying a couple of weeks ago that I think Ben's someone who's hot now and grew up not hot, but I like hate that I'm right.
Did you say that?
I said that a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm like, oh God, like
you called it.
I don't want to be right about that. I feel bad now.
Well, yes. Okay. So I think a lot of people know I watched this with my sister. My sister is a dietitian and her specialty is eating disorders. And so we sit, we watch and we chat. And then as soon as he said I had an eating disorder, she was like, I watched her instead of him because she was like, what? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, ooh, mm-hmm. Yeah. Like that was fascinating to her.
Yeah.
She told me that 10% of eating disorders are men. Like you said, men, it's tough for men to be vulnerable, but men do not talk about eating disorders. Like that is not a thing men talk about. So first off, thank you for talking about it, Ben, because you need to like stop hiding like that. It's not a manly thing or macho or whatever. That is a difficult thing to go through.
Yeah.
And maybe because his body is such an issue of him, actually stripping down and showing it
big deal
is some sort of that is a big deal. That is him saying I'm showing myself.
Yeah, he's got an incredible body now. He looks amazing. But when you grow up with really intense body issues and body dysmorphia, he will probably never see himself as he really is. He's probably still struggling with like focusing on certain body parts. Like, this is not perfect. This is not the way I want it. So even though we look at Ben and we're like, whoa, what a hottie look with a body, you know, like, okay, it's like a cheap thing for you to take off the robe and show off your six pack. But I think it actually means a lot more for him than it would for someone who was like just kind of jacked their whole life, you know?
Right. And I mean, eating disorders are very layered. It is not just about what you look like, because that's not what they're seeing. If you have the disorder, you don't see your body in a way that the other people are looking at your body, right? You're seeing it differently and you don't think it's good enough. So there's layers and layers of insecurities and self-doubt that Ben probably still deals with, has had to go through and still deals with that. And this does seem to hit a chord with Tayshia, and she's very supportive and into Ben.
And she gives him the rose. She gives him the group date rose. And it's very nice. I think, you know, they're just like, I feel like they're both like, you're too good to be true. It's like a two-way street there. Like, Ben thinks that he couldn't possibly be with Tayshia. Tayshia kind of feels like, can I really be with Ben? Like, is that going to work? And so this, I think, is like a big moment for him. Like, okay, I've been trying to show up for the past handful of days here. And now I thought I was going to get a one-on-one. I thought this was going to happen, but now at least I got this group date rose. Okay, this is like the reassurance that I needed. We're back in a good place. Thank God. Yeah. But I love when Tayshia's like, Ben, here's the rose. But before I go, Noah, Bennett, something's going on and I'm going to figure out what it is. Yikes.
This is actually the moment that Bennett realizes something is going on.
Yeah. Right.
Bennett's like, huh?
Wait a minute.
What do you mean? What's
something? What's she talking about? And I'm like, she's talking about the fact that you were like shading Noah the entire group date. You were like barely talking about her. You were only focused on Noah. That's what she's referring to, Bennett.
That is exactly what she's referring to. Newsflash to Bennett, though, not to Noah. He's like, yeah, let's get down to this. Let's do that. But first, before we get into that, we're going to have a one-on-one date with my boy Eazy.
Yes. And this one I loved because this, you know, I love like a good, like scared of the dark challenge on Big Brother. And I'm like, yeah, bring it on to The Bachelor. Great. Yeah. Okay. The La Quinta's haunted. Probably not, but I'm gonna go along with it because I love the night vision cameras. I love the creepy dolls. I love the flashlights and the scares, and I'm into this date.
Absolutely. They're like, oh my God, did you hear someone breathing? And you're like, yes, it's a PA stuck behind a wall, breathing heavily for you. Absolutely. There's like old-timey photos, which in the daytime are adorable. And at night, they're freaky and they're so funny. And I thought it was interesting because Eazy's like, I'm hoping this is the most romantic thing. And he's like wanting to like swoon. And Tayshia was like, let's have fun together instead.
Right. So which I honestly, I would want to go on a fun date with Eazy too. Yes. He's a fun person. He's got a fun personality. Like if the producers offered me this date and said, who do you want to do this with? I would also say Eazy, you know, like I understand he wants to like the romance and the, you know, courting and all that stuff. But I'm like, you are the one that I want to go on like a ghost hunting mission with.
Yes. And as viewers, super entertaining. This was great. I don't like haunted houses. I don't want to go in this, but to watch them, absolutely.
I'm not surprised that you don't want to go because I always want to go to a haunted house and none of my friends will go with me. All of my friends hate haunted houses. Ugh, I hate it. Because all I want to do is watch you scream, Sarah.
On Amazing Race, you're doing the haunted house challenge. Okay, great.
Yes. Okay. And I'm going to force you to go with me because it's going to be a detour, not a roadblock. Dang it. So you're going to have to do it with me.
Dang it. All right. If I have to for $1 million, I'll do it. All right. They're having so much fun. I am grinning from ear to ear. I'm like, this is exactly what they needed. They are bonding. This is great. Tayshia will see how wonderful Eazy is. Yeah. Now we get to sit down and have dinner. And Eazy is there. He's ready to step up to the plate too. I don't even know if he got the vulnerable note, but he's there.
Oh, he's ready. He's ready to open up. And, I think part of it is like, okay, I was hoping for maybe a more serious date, but it was fun and we laughed and okay,
Mhm.
that's great. We had a good time together. But like now I got to kind of take this dinner seriously and really kind of make my move. Like this is the
Yeah.
moment. I've been
Yeah.
a little bit under the radar. So I got to, make myself a standout. He looks incredible in his all black. I loved the
Stunning.
like very suave gold chain. Like, well done, easy on the
Yes.
look. And he
He's
is
saying the right
vulnerable.
things, right?
Yeah.
He's saying the
Yeah.
things I've heard other people say. I think I'm falling in love with you. Like I feel like I really am having feelings for you. I feel something like he felt it in his bones.
Mm.
And unfortunately, Tayshia just isn't giving anything back to him.
She's listening respectfully again.
Yeah.
But as soon as it cut to the guys and they were like, man, their chemistry is like off the chain. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see Eazy come back with a rose, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is a bad sign. Not
Yes, that
a good
was
omen.
That was editing laying it on thick for us because I am on cloud nine. I am like, this is so great. And then as soon as the editing is showing me, like Blake is saying they have the most chemistry of anyone. And I was like, oh no,
I literally
this
was like,
is going the wrong way.
did they like kick you an extra $200 to say that?
Yes.
Because what? Like, no,
What?
they do not have the best chemistry of anybody there.
Exactly. But that was like, well, Blake's not that smart. So I can see him being super confused. Yeah. So after she sits there and listens to him tell her how wonderful she is, she basically is like, I'd hate for you to keep putting in work to this relationship because I ain't gonna be there for you, basically.
Oh boy. She's like, I'm just not there. Like, I really appreciate you opening up. And I think this is the moment that Tayshia was afraid of. This is why she's been so emotional this episode about receiving this like intense emotion from these guys, because she's like, I know I can't always reciprocate it. I know that. And here she is face to face with someone on a one-on-one. And she has to say like, I'm sorry, I can't give you this rose. And immediately he's just like crestfallen, heartbroken, embarrassed, ego's bruised. Like, I totally get it. But he like kind of shuts off and she's like, can I walk you out? And he's like, sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Whatever. And like, does not want to be walked out.
No, I almost feel like being at a rose ceremony and not getting a rose is an easier letdown.
Yes.
Sitting there looking at him face to face after he just said how his feelings are building for her and to say, I don't feel this. I'm just not that into you. And let me walk you out is like a stab.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I thought that was worse. I think she thought it was the more respectful thing. At least that's how she phrased it.
Yeah.
This is the more respectful way. And I was like, oh, I disagree.
Yeah. They always kind of like couch it as like, it would be a disservice to you to like string you along, make you come to this cocktail party
like
and then do a rose ceremony to not get a rose. So I'm going to send you home right now. But it's brutal. It's really tough. And Eazy, I think, is just like, wow, okay. Like, I just kind of got this feeling from him of like, I really thought this was going to work for me. And I was here on The Bachelor for long term and this doesn't compute. Like, how am I going home right now?
Right. He was shook. He was shook for sure. But he's cemented in Bachelor Nation, right? He's the next Bachelor. He's Bachelor in Paradise, like whatever, right?
Yeah, he'll be in Bachelor in Paradise. Not the next Bachelor, but Bachelor in Paradise.
Well, I say give it all to Eazy. I will watch whatever he does. Whatever he shows up in next, I will be there to support him.
Yeah. And the guys are shook too. When they roll that suitcase out the door, the guys are like, whoa, what? Like, Eazy's going home. This is crazy. And then, the next morning, they're still kind of talking about Eazy went home. We can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. Jojo comes in. And I love the moment when Noah's like, oh, and she's like, are you grooming right now? Like, I guess any girl will do for Noah, right? Like, even a married woman walking into the room who's the host of the show, he's still got a shot. Let me just like fix my hair a little bit. I was like, okay,
I was
Noah.
like, girl, I don't know who you are, but I now love you because she straight called him out. How's it looking? You okay? And I mean, he's so embarrassed. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Like, you don't need to mirror check.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm about to be on camera.
Yeah. Well, and I think she also kind of knows I'm about to announce a 2-on-1 and you're a part of it. And now like you're up here trying to like look good in front of me or something. Like this is what are you doing? And so she's like, there's going to be a cocktail party, but it's not going to happen. And they're like, what? And she's like, because it's postponed because Noah and Bennett are a huge problem. And we're going to get to the bottom of it right now. There's going to be a 2-on-1.
Yes. So I guess the rest of them are slightly annoyed because, again, this cuts into their time. But Noah's like, or no, Bennett's like, great. Looking forward to it. Love to see Tayshia. This is going to be fun.
And he's sort of like, I'm equally perplexed. So I also want to get to the bottom of this. And I think that getting to the bottom of this means that Noah's going home. So yes, let's do a 2-on-1. Like he's very confident.
All right, so we got Noah and Bennett sitting on the couch, waiting for Tayshia for their 2-on. Oh, and also JoJo says there'll be one rose there. Like the both of you can't stay. There'll be one rose for the two of you. They're sitting there on the couch, and Bennett just can't.
He can't be normal.
He just can't let this roll. He just has to dig. And I honestly think, David, that Bennett doesn't realize he's a condescending person.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's how he is.
Yeah.
And he thinks, I don't think he's like intentionally being, because he's kind of the villain here. Let's be honest. Like Noah is coming off like the underdog in this situation because Bennett will not let up. He keeps harping on things. Why are you going over the top, bringing in this like wrapped gift with all of these things? The first one, like red bandana, I hope there's no bad blood. And then the second one, a dig at his mustache. And a third one, you are deficient in 3 of the 4 areas of the it just gets worse and worse. And I think he thinks, I mean, he's clearly making some digs, but I do believe that he thinks like, I'm trying to help you. You're young. You don't know what's up. And I do. And, I know maybe you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to explain it to you because it's for your own good. And, later you'll thank me. Like, I think he really thinks that way.
Luckily, Noah let Bennett dig his own grave there for a little while. Like Noah did a great job of just not really reacting for the most part, letting Noah or Bennett get through it all. But that third gift, the book of intellectual development, is that what it is?
Emotional intelligence,
whatever. Yeah. Bennett is genuinely saying, you need this. You're not going to succeed in relationships unless you understand this. And I too was like you when I was younger, but I read this book and now I am amazing. And when Noah said something like, you're rude, Bennett was like, no, I don't mean this rudely at all. I'm trying to help you grow as a person. And that's when I was like, oh, no.
He says, he's like, you need to hear this. I'm trying to help you grow. He literally says, I'm trying to love you up. What? No, like that is so crazy. And Noah, again, he doesn't overreact. I stand by what I said last week that I think Noah is actually acting like the older, more mature person here because he's just kind of letting Bennett act like a crazy fool, which is how he's coming off. And he's like, so, okay, I got it. You think you're better than me with your Harvard education and your fancy job. Right. Cool. But he doesn't like lash out in the moment or say anything like hurtful that he can't take back. Then Tayshia walks in and Bennett clicks on his like American Psycho face where it's like he's kind of being really mean to Noah. And then he's like, Tayshia, nice to see you again. And it's like, okay, this is sociopath vibes.
It's really not a good sign when that is your natural behavior and you don't even realize what you're doing. Like I would love to see what he thinks of watching the show right now because he doesn't see himself in this light whatsoever. No. There is no way that Tayshia is keeping him.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
No
I mean,
way.
when we see her sit down, like, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, because I loved every minute of this 2-on-1 date, but she sits down in between them. So
Yeah.
smart, because then they're bickering over her and she's
Mhm.
just like watching a ping pong match,
Right.
like following the ball as it's being lobbed back and forth between these two guys. And you can tell she's over it, like
Uh-huh.
deadpan face, like, what am I
Completely.
watching here? And
Not
she
amused.
calls him out like, this is teenage drama. Is this what you're doing when I'm not around? Bennett, it really feels like you're questioning my integrity. And he's like, I couldn't disagree more. And then Sarah, her eyes land on the present.
Well,
And
not
she's
so much
like,
her eyes land. The camera panned down to it because the editors and producers were like, gift.
right. They're like behind the camera, like pointing, like,
Down.
look at that,
Down.
look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was VO. She was like, and what's this box? Completely different audio than her normal talking. So
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it because the story's amazing. What's in the box? And it's like time stops. Like Bennett is kind of like, oh God, now I have to explain what I just did. And then we get the to be continued. And I screamed on my couch. I was so excited. I was like, yes, 2-parter. Okay.
I don't think I was that excited about a 2-parter, but I mean,
ate it up.
in that moment, honestly, I don't see her keeping either one. I mean, I don't know if she kind of likes Noah, and that's fine. She could keep him, but like at this point, why? She said something about like, why hasn't this been resolved without me? Like, why do I have to be here for this?
Yeah.
And that's such a good point. Get rid of both of them, especially when you've got these great guys who are being so vulnerable with you that you don't want to hurt their feelings, right?
Yeah.
Get rid of both of these guys at this point.
Well, I think it's only going to be Bennett that goes home.
Okay.
And Noah's going to stay. And I'm not mad about it. You know,
You're not mad about it.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bennett. Last week I was all for Bennett, and this week, no, thank you. Like it's like I said, not a good look when you don't even realize that you're condescending. That means he's going to be condescending to Tayshia, and that's something she needs to cut off real quick.
Real fast. Yeah. So to be continued on that. And then, presumably right after that, we saw the guys are like in their full cocktail party wear. So we may get a rose ceremony right after Bennett goes home, because I don't want to spoil it, but Bennett is going home. Like that's that's where we're headed.
Spoiler, Bennett is going home. I think we all are in agree with that. I hope we get a rose ceremony, because I really need to see what JoJo's going to do with that last rose.
Yes, I keep forgetting.
If I do not get that moment, what am I doing here?
And I'm like, how many episodes are we going to have JoJo? Like, this is great. Mix it up. I like Sarah again. I'm like, this is not normal Bachelorette for Sarah to be coming in the first time, but it's great.
Show me something different.
Yeah.
I love it. There also does seem to be some drama. I mean, when is there not? The previews, they know how to make dramatic.
They really do.
Is Zach getting in trouble? Zach he's up on a lie detector test. And if yes, of course he cheated. No one should be surprised. He was going through an addiction.
Yeah.
Is that too big of a jump for me to say? But like when we are not clear-headed, we make mistakes. And cheating is a very big mistake that a lot of people make, right?
Yes. And then there's Brendan drama. There's Riley drama. Like, it's front runner drama that they're teasing.
No, we can't have Brendan drama. That's her guy, right?
I mean, I just can't really, believe like what the drama about Brendan would be about. Like, is it that he didn't kiss her when she wanted to kiss him or something?
He was talking again, David.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
He has got to stop talking and just kiss her. Now, who are you rooting for? Zach at this point? Are you rooting for anyone, David?
I love Zach. I don't want to say I'm rooting for Noah, but I'm enjoying Noah as a character. Not sorry. Who else do I like? I like Ben after this episode, and him, kind of finally opening up with something meaningful and not just like, oh, wow, Tayshia, you're so gorgeous and I'm nervous around you. Like, now we have got some like substance to him. So I like that. But I think right now, I just really enjoy the vibe of Zach and Tayshia. What about you?
Yeah, like rooting for someone. I didn't know that we were supposed to root for people, and I don't feel like I'm to that point yet where I'm rooting for people.
Okay.
But I definitely like Brendan and Ben. And I don't know if that's because I like them for her or if I just like them. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like I said, like Zach, I just haven't gotten into him yet. So I don't know. But I also love Ivan and Riley. I've loved them since before. And so I wouldn't hate seeing more of them.
Agreed.
With her, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Since she got rid of my Eazy. I don't know.
I know. Sorry about that, Sarah.
I was real upset about that. But yeah, I'll take some Ivan, some Riley, some Ben, and some Brendan. That's who I like.
Good stuff. Yep.
Yeah. And okay, so next week some drama, right?
Drama. I love it. This is a great episode.
We will be back next week for all of whatever that drama happens to be. You guys who joined us live, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yes, and if you're joining us later, leave us a comment. What did you think of all the vulnerability in this episode? What was your take on obviously the Bennett and Noah drama? We need your opinions on that.
Mm-hmm.
And would you have trusted a Ferris wheel that was built on the grounds of a resort? Would you have gotten on that and taken a ride?
In a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Just brought in. But honestly, aren't all Ferris wheels moved around? Because fairs come and go from town to town. So
yeah, I guess you're right.
Should you ever trust the Ferris wheel? Should you ever? Might be the question.
Answer us that. Yeah.
Yikes. I don't know. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.